go fishing and think. The task of training the assault team must be long. It doesn't end until late at night. I don't know if the pizza shop is closed at noon. I didn't eat anything yesterday. After that, Igina yawned in a tired voice. I saw the lights in the pizza place still on. Izina exclaimed that fortunately it is not closed. I've been tired all day. The most anticipated thing is pizza for dinner. He was about to enter the shop when a stone came flying. Fell at your feet. You suddenly came back, glared at the darkness that was hiding in the alley. Raise your bow. I saw the guy running away. Igina yelled at him to stop and put him down. Think of it as a corporate assassin. Come to assassinate the owner. Why haven't they given up yet? Thought that Igina immediately chased. The ocean towards the shadow at the end of the alley is too big. Tell me your identity. Finally breaking into the Atlantic City. Is there a purpose? Or we'll shoot the arrow. The shadow slowly turned around. Ra is the guardian of the Johns. She replied coldly. Not seen for a while. But you forgot about me so quickly, Sao Igina. Izina was shocked and worried to see that she knew her name. But calmly tell me who you are. You know my name. In your mind, this voice is a bit familiar. The security guard slowly approached. Long time no see, Izina. Izina suddenly recognized this familiar voice. Asked Johns why she was here. But Izina's eyes suddenly turned sharp and said the wrong thing. Not that you've always followed Princess Lucy, Sao. The bow just dropped. Was lifted up again towards the juniors. In my head, Izina appears thinking. Before being saved by Princess Lucy, Johnny is the killer. Maybe she left the princess. Back to the old way. If Johns gets the order to assassinate the owner. With her strength. I'm afraid I can't hold her alone. Again, a familiar voice caught Igina's attention. Put your weapon down, Igina. Igina turned her head. This voice was. Princess Lucy appeared. Told Izina Johns not to betray me. The Atlantic City was my idea. She's just coming with me. Igina goes from surprise to surprise. Ask Princess Lucy why you're here. Princess Lucy meets Izina. I was hoping you could help me out. Igina looks at Princess Lucy with looks. Suspicious or intrusive face. Inside the pizza shop, Princess Lucy is explaining to Izina about his and John's appearance in the Atlantic City. Izina replied like this when she heard it. Izina and Catherine. We talked about it in the Atlantic. Let you know. Then, Sao. Just finished, Lucy asked. Like the last time I heard you say about government. What do you have to do with wind? Lucy continued with her face. Don't you think that girl is beautiful? I married you as a wife. Izina is drinking tea. Lucy was startled to hear this, spitting out a sip of tea. He stood up and said angrily. Miss, you misunderstood. Mr. Liu Feng just helping us form a death squad. Lucy is surprised by Igina's somewhat strong reaction. Why are you so excited? I took a sip of tea and Lucy said it was good. Miss Theo. At least you don't have to worry about safety. Izina realized. I was a little overreacting to the princess. In front of the head. The Lord has treated me very well. Then Ina looked at Lucy and asked. But why did you come to the West? What happened in King's Landing? Or the princes? He started targeting her because he wanted to fight for the throne. I heard about my brothers fighting for the throne. Lucy's eyes suddenly became sad. Her hand gripped the tea. I saw Lucy's attitude become like that. Irina realized that what she said was true. Lucy looked straight into Igina's eyes and said, "It doesn't matter about the capital, Igina." She said, "Tell me first. It's a wonderful idea to be in exile. You've never saved a dying person, have you?" Lucy agitated to hold onto Igina's hand. This is what Igina said. "Indeed, master, he saved a dying soldier." About this, most people who live in the Atlantic City know that. Lucy breathed so well that her father was saved. Lucy mentioned the king. Irina panicked, asked her father, Princess Lucy, "What are you talking about?" Lucy turned sadly towards the window. "Look outside. I really don't dare." "Really, father? There's no cure for a serious illness in the capital." "Izina sounds so worried," Theo asked. "I'd like to invite you to the Sao kingdom." Lucy turns to grab Igina's hand. I looked directly into her eyes. "I would like to invite him to lunch. That's why I need your help. I'd like to come and invite you personally. This is an important thing that cannot be delayed." Igina immediately agreed. "I will go to Mr. Liu Feng tonight to explain the situation. Take me to see him tomorrow. To hear from Isina for help." Lucy happily jumped up. "Hold on, thank you, logic. To see the king's illness. The capital has been settled." Isina started asking. "The situation of the two girls in the capital. Right, how's Katharinia and Degina? Can the items you brought be sold? I thought they'd be back in the Atlantic soon." "Not expect. I've been waiting for days and still no news." Princess Lucy replied, "The store that Dazina opened in the royal capital. Very much loved, and the letters." Speaking of which, Lucy suddenly bowed her head hesitantly. Princess Lucy stopped talking. Jenna panicked and asked Catherine what happened. Princess Lucy's eyes sparkled sadly. "The father is very ill. The situation in the capital is very complicated, Ren. The princes are all quietly vying for the throne. It is very likely, sir, the Duke will marry Catherine to one of them. Two princes, or great princes. He is the one with the most hope for winning the throne. Think about your army. She is the Duke's daughter. This is a fate she's hard to avoid." After that, Lucy thought, she is a princess like me. I was afraid Johnny would think I was sad. "Lucy, go back and reassure the guard." "I don't, Sao," but she replied desperately. "I'm not worried about you." Izina had just heard about the situation in the royal capital. Frowned his cold eyes at the door. Sinking into thought, those cowardly princes are no good. Catherine is a friend. I can't just watch her jump into the fire. We have to go to the capital again. To save her. In the government office, Mina is excitedly telling the master about the exile. The words on the river are solid. People in the city rushed to experience the bridge. Open your mouth and praise your uncle for building a bridge on the river. My dad doesn't seem to care much about this. Asked Vina how the wild potatoes went. Mina happily replied, "Who want to go to the shore of Kier reclaimed. They also race each other. Sign. Happy to answer. That is good." From outside the door appeared the figure of Igina coming in. Igina hesitated. He exiled. "Regina, why are you here? What's wrong with Sao training?" Izina replied immediately. "To become a master. Actually, my friend wants to see you." When you hear Isina mention, you suddenly ask again. Your friend is a new goblin who came to the city to settle down. Irina suddenly said seriously. She, Princess Lucy of the royal family. 2 hours, princess. Make the exile. And Mina startled. Mina hurriedly asked. Princess Lucy wrote the novel. The Love Diary of the Noble Maiden. After Izina answered yes. To say, Igina. Tell me clearly. Why did Princess Lucy go to the Atlantic City? Izina slowly recounts the reason the princess came to Atlantic City. After listening, he agreed to arrange a meeting. In the morning of the next day. The next morning at the city gate. Lucy and the wolf guard have arrived. Waiting for Igina to meet you. Izina came forward to say, Princess Lu Yu is here. She suddenly stopped pretending to cough and continued. Lucy, we're here. In my head, I think, I almost revealed the identity of the princess. Princess Lucy is beautiful. He looked at Igina. Igina is bothering you. Izina politely replied, No sao, let's go. The wind is waiting for you in the library. Princess Lucy suddenly noticed the crowd are laughing, speak in front of the gate. 3 people, 2 women and a man are talking about something. The woman said. That's what he said, the male guard replied. Right. Princess Lucy is surprised. I have a nice conversation with 2 women. Turned to Izina. Princess Izina's question was answered with a smile. It's hard to believe, isn't it? You just need to finish your work, and you can rest. They will no longer be treated like slaves. If you are good enough, you'll be promoted. You can also go out and manage the store. Lucy finished listening. It's hard to believe. Full of vitality and positive feeling going up. It's a completely different feeling than the pressure of your husband, the royal palace and other noble families. In Lucy's lap aesthetic. Like that, surely that day can cure Father Cho. A while later, in the city government's library. A girl's loud voice. It can't be cured. Princess Lucy stood up in anger. Not everyone who's dying can be saved later. My father only gets dizzy from time to time. Can't sleep. I feel like I don't understand much. There's the child part of Princess Lucy. Black face does not respond. I can see the attitude of his response. Lucy continued with anger. Or you're afraid of going to the capital. I can make sure the land is safe there. As long as you cure Father Cho. Whether it's taste or money, it's up to you. It's kind of ridiculous to hear Lucy talk. The cold shoulder is not because of these things. King's disease is the old man's disease. As people get older, their functions will be reduced. It's basically incurable. Lucy heard Liu Feng say that and asked the old man again. In Lucy's head, she realized, yes, my father is old. I've known for a long time. You are also the best. Gardening has no cure. A place like this. How can I cure my father? I looked at Lucy's thoughtful face. Liu Feng continued, a complete cure is impossible. Can only nurse health. Maybe a few more years. I heard these words from the mouth of the wind. How excited is Lucy about nursing? Will you come to the kingdom with me? Let the king live a few more years. Calmly replied, No, I can't go. But I'll give you some medicine and supplements you brought back. Just drink on time. You have to eat and rest in moderation. Eat a lot of protein bars. Princess Lucy can't go with me. Of sad eyes say. So, Fong said to wait for 2 days. I'll finish the medicine and ask someone to bring it to you. Lucy softly replied yes. So I don't bother you anymore. Lucy left the room and called Theo Lucy. Waiting for Lucy to go away, Ellie went to speak to the exile. Master, there is no way to cure it. It's a shame, But this is also an opportunity. They're busy fighting. There's no time to pay attention to our place. Let's take this opportunity to grow. Save prevention chin thoughts, agree say. Until the king is stable. At least half a year is enough. The new king did not know. That position should be changed for someone else. It's warm outside. The trees on the mountains began to green. The view is so beautiful. It's sunny, it's raining. In front of the Atlantic City gate, a carriage is prepared. The driver was preparing to clean the firebooks. The sound of the pouring rain. Isina was told to hold Princess Lucy's hand. Princess Lucy has been raining all day. Can you stay a few more days? Then go. Lucy is also attached. Sad rejection of Igina's good will no need Syria. I'm still worried about my father. It's hard to get the drugs now. I want to take the medicine back. Tears in my eyes, promise me. You've got to go to Atlantic City again. I can see you like this place very much. Princess Lucy replied with a smile, I will come again. Then you can take me out. John's holding the umbrella, goes to tell Lucy. The princess is out. Lucy looked back and said, I know. Johnny saw in his mind that it was time for the princess to leave, but the wind did not come to send off. I thought he wasn't coming. It's clear the princess left his leader. Johnny Keel carried the little princess in his car. Unfortunately, this time it was so short. Next time for sure, you have to learn about this strange man. New one. The carriage began to roll in the rain leaving. Igina looked at Theo and said, to go in peace. On the side of the gate appeared things that make Igina pay attention. She blinked for an hour. Looking at the sign painted on the wall, Igina exclaimed, that's the bounty hunter's queue. The rain is getting heavier and heavier at the outdoor boatyard. Ellie was watching the big boat in front of her. The giant boat, in front of everyone, it has been completed. The white sails are boned wide. Liu Feng, I'm standing there watching this very large-scale ship. Suddenly, there was a call to become a master. The wind turns to look towards. Just made a call. Well, with building a big ship, you're working hard. The tall guy scratched his head nervously. I promised to do it. My boss agreed to hire me. Big ship building is my luck. It's the big ships that I built before. Every time water comes in, it comes out. This time I used your drawing. I'm still a little nervous. Tall boy, in front of this, is with shipbuilders in the Atlantic. He understood the concerns of the shipbuilder. Comforting shoulder claps, I'm very confident about my drawings. You don't have faith in your technique. The guy hesitantly told me as if given more power. He spoke loudly with determination. Of course, there's trust. His face was shining again. He turned to look at the ship. What are you waiting for? Let's get started. Happy whistling yes for an hour. Rubbing the sound of the axe swinging. And cut it down so hard that the ship's anchors broke off. The big ship officially put to sea. Everyone looked at the majestic scene in front of them. The shipyard worker didn't dare look. Put your hands together and pray. Boat, in the rain, sail away to the sea. Listen to your shirt loud. Chris opened his eyes and asked, how's the ship? Suddenly, I was stunned. Rejoiced that the ship is not open. Ran and succeeded. We have a big ship in the west. Ha 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 ha, Ali happily danced in my cheer. DD is too good to waste money. Standing on one side breathing a sigh of relief. Look up at the ship that's just finished working. The wind says so. The golden way on the water of our Atlantic city. It's finally opened. Everyone gets on the boat for a tour. Decide only where to introduce Theo Barmaster. Now we're on the second floor of the ship. Will be where the glass will later be on board. I've calculated it. This ship can carry more than 200 people. If it is not full, it can be doubled. Look at each place, and you can say yes. Ellie looked at the narrow hallway and lamented how narrow it was. Long stay up here must be gone. Mina also agrees. That's right, the basic feeling is that we don't want to be here. I laughed when I heard that. Haha, Koli Kamina, two people rest assured. Master has thought about this before. Already said. Then he opened the door and said, Marines can normally operate here. The door opened in front of the two girls. Ellie looked at the large room in front of her and said, so spacious. Mina continued, if so, it really won't be too stuffy. The room in front of you has a lot of chairs, is neatly arranged, cool open space. Ellie happily jumps into the room. The wind turned to say, don't stop with shipbuilding. I hope in a month. There are 3 ships launched. Phase 1, I need 18 meat ships. It's the same size. Such a large number of ships, Ellie turned to ask in surprise. 18 con. To hear such a large number with such a bewilderment. Master Bar. This can't be done. With the current number of people, 2 months. A large ship is already at its limit. I'm afraid there will be mistakes. By the riverside of the Atlantic city, the refugees gradually left the ship. I just went out and said, 2 AI human resources problems in the Atlantic city are still too weak. He looked at the water flowing in front of him. It's not that much rain. Why is the water rising so fast? Ellie followed up. No wonder it's already spring. The weather is warm, right? Of course, the snow melts down into running water. He said he was busy building things. But don't pay attention to spring already. But the water's rising too fast if we don't pay attention. Fong is saying stop. Turn your attention to the far side. The big fisherman is directing the shipbuilding workforce. When I saw the wind coming, I asked him to save the wind. What did you tell me? The black man asked the black man. This time last year, into the Atlantic or in areas where there's been recent flooding. I thought about it for a while and then got bored. Floods. This office in the Atlantic has never been flooded. But this time a few years ago, the city was glad to be heavily flooded. I heard a lot of people died. Keep listening and ask. So how did the nobles over there arrange for the people in distress? Like a big shrug and sigh. Arranged not arranged anything to meet such a thing. Everyone thinks they are unlucky. To hear about the heartless nobles of Kier. Say it with a smile. If that's the case, I'd like to get those people here. Liu Feng's intentions startled everyone. Panic as if you don't believe in your hand. The suspect asked the owner. What did you just say? Ellie and Mina said in unison. You want to save them. Surprised by the reaction. There's a little bit of strength in Ba. They said, why can't that be? Mina laughed softly. No, we just think. This is the boss's style of work. Ellie opened the notebook for a moment and said, I'm going to arrange the train now. Let the little ships run a few more. People are thinking of using such a small boat. It's too slow to say that. Just use the big brakes to pick up the refugees. This has to do with people. You can't delay it. Do it. Ellie prepared for full supplies. To get supplies to the people. Ellie takes the order seriously. Just give it to me. He turned to tell the old man. I chose 100 people to bring all the ships here. Waiting for the rain to stop. To the limestone city to save lives. He scratched his chin and continued. Then there's someone to repopulate. But the problem of shipbuilding manpower has also been solved. Ellie was worried about saying that he owned it. I talked to you earlier about shipbuilding. I want to tell you. The Atlantic's coffers are running out of money. The cost of a large ship is too high. If we continue to build, we'll have to supply the refugees. I'm afraid it won't be enough. If Sozo and Degina come back now, we will be much better. But they haven't had any news in a long time. I'm worried. I understand Ollie's concerns. Sei Feng interrupted. I don't believe in Soju and Degina. For a while and there's still no news. I'll send someone to investigate. Ellie hadn't stopped worrying about talking, but Mina can interrupt. Ellie has a boss here. You don't have to worry. Fainting words. Ellie angry turned the voice AI worry. I don't care. Minaba looked helplessly at Ellie who said that before. Ellie exclaimed angrily that she said no. At the same time on the river Yushui wind blowing. Degina leaned against the side of the boat. Brown hair flying in the wind. A sad face looking down at the river. Dazina was recalling her conversation with Catherine. Before leaving. At that time she decided to say, I have to try anyway. I'm going to the Atlantic City for help. Surely that day will help you. Break the line of thought. Degina sighed. I have to say why that day is so difficult. Behind Degina a man goes to talk. Master, the guys in the back are still following us. Azina looked at the boat behind her. From far away say, it's gone private. It's a shark. I can smell a business opportunity 1,000 miles away. Our water and other goods. Very popular in the capital. It's hard not to attract their attention. The mushroom-headed man looked at the people who were following him. A voice. A horde of stalkers. Can't cut the tail. Dazina sighed tirelessly saying, normal traders are not SAO. I'm afraid it's the four princes. Being so careful is not the same as doing business. On the boat behind. They are the people of the four princes. The nobles in evil armor. A blonde looking under Degina's boat. The malicious voice said, this must be the last time she's ever done business. She messed up last time. Help Cather Jin come back to life. Go tell the Duke. I was almost stripped of my title. The four princes' closest subordinates replied, yes. She doesn't have a few days left. The four kingdoms have said, as long as we get away to make water, then she'll let us handle it. The blonde was afraid that Kier was covered in hatred. Then you remember this. I'll remind you of a way. Water is the most important. Don't be careless. The black-haired man replied, I don't know. The owner of the Atlantic, are you obedient? The man of the great prince and the two princes. It's not easy to deal with either. The scornful blonde said it was just a bunch of shit. Until then, throw away everything like alcohol, is that it can make them scratch and scratch. We need to focus on how to make water. He is still that owner. Horsemen, Count Pulitzer's people will be formed. Quickly, then the West will be the land of the four princes. That exile wouldn't dare refuse. The two excited mindless men laughed and said for sure. Suddenly, there was a report that the limestone in front of it was. The blonde suddenly replied, "Oh, fast. Look at the water in front of you." The black-haired man said, "But look at the situation ahead. It seems to be flooding. The whole city is covered in water." The yellow shirt looked back and said, "That's a shame. It has nothing to do with us, right?" The two men laughed loudly and were all fake. The scenery in the limestone city is very sad now. People are searching. High places avoid floods. The water is getting higher and higher. The sound of people panicking with the sound of rescuers. Just be careful not to fall into the water. Suddenly, there was a woman screaming at the bar. "Has anyone seen my child?" In the fast-flowing water, the child is struggling endlessly, calling her, "Mom, Mom." Everyone looked at the baby and screamed. Then swept away. Then, the young mother's pale face screamed in vain. "My son, you want to jump into the water to save him." He was stopped by the man next to him in a hurry. "Don't move the water. You can't save it." A tall bearded man. "Get ready to jump. No matter the 7 bars behind him for an hour." The man who plunged into the water swam hugged you again. "Don't be afraid." The terrified boy sobs up and clings to his shirt. "I can't swim to the shore. There's a big wave coming up against 2 people. Everyone is big. It's not done. People are swept away." The man was still hugging the child. 2 people hit the VA on something. "So that's Darina's boat." Azina hurriedly threw down the rope and said aloud, "2 people, 1 big and 1 small, get on the boat. Get out of the water. On the bearded man's boat right now. Thanks for saving Dejina's life." He said, "Thank you for coming to the rescue." "I'm the Knight of Limestone, Taki." Dezina happily replied that I was Dezina. "It's the right thing to do, Taki. It doesn't have to be that way. Taki is not the master of your limestone city. Sao doesn't see arranging people to save people." I ended up with a sad face. He took his family and property with him. Running for a long time. I can't help but leave people here. So don't go with him. It's just unexpected. This year's floods have been so severe." Smiling, Azina replied, "Or this. Arrange for everyone to board my ship. I'll take it to safety." Then the Dejina turned to the man. "Everybody tell the scout to get down. Have the boat pull over, to catch people's lives." The mushroom head immediately obeyed. I took note of Dejina's kindness and said, "Thank you very much. But I'm afraid your ship isn't enough. It might even put you in danger." Taki just came back. "Look at the people trying to stand on the city." Just said Taki turned out. The ships behind. Davina's ship is asking for Kudarina. The ships behind are all Saos. "Look at the ships that are following," Larina replied. "Not that of the nobles. For some other reason, follow me all the time." Here 2 words noble. Taki's face became sad. "Noble Sao said." Then Taki stood up. He turned the wooden crate over his shoulder and said, "Dejina, can I have 3 wooden lots?" Azina is in a panic, asking you what you want to do. Taki carried a wooden barrel as a float, leaping into the river. "Answer me, please help them." I said, "I have a boat." On the boat of the prince's subordinates. Chelsea boat. There's a noise. The previous dispatch report has stopped. It looks like we want to help the refugees. The Viscount, the black-haired leader, replied indifferently. "Women are too soft." The blonde scratched his ear. "It's a waste of time. There's time to save those people. It's better to hurry back to the Atlantic. Suddenly, there was a loud voice below, to attract the attention of the Viscount. The men on the boat. I'm the Knight of Limestone. The Limestone City beats the flood. I hope you have compassion. Relief to the people of the Limestone City. Even if it's a bit of food, gentlemen. The Viscount looked in the direction and called out for help. I saw a man holding a wooden box. That person is Knight Taki. The evil people laughed and said, "Get out. Let's say our boat. You can also put the poor people's names up there. Whether you want food or not doesn't matter. How to bring money to buy barley for £1. Cheap enough, haha." Taki gritted his teeth in anger. You put your trust in the dogs. This person's face, in a head full of hatred. These nobles are getting more and more outrageous. There are no honest nobles in this world. Don't worry, brother, you'll see me. Watch Taki's actions risking his life. Everyone in the city called out for Taki the Knight. It's too dangerous to go back quickly. How can those nobles save us? It's not that AI is as honest as Lady Dajia. Hurry back. In the distance, a giant boat appeared. Attract everyone's gaze. The people ignore. Then the boat came and we. When you hear people say, I looked back and realized that the boat was too big. The Chinese cry you. Approaching the port of the Limestone City. Dazina was also attracted to the big ship. Never been like this. I turned around and saw the red sign on the sail. Realized that it's the boat of the Atlantic. Save Fang. The owner actually built a 50-meter boat. On the big ship at the top. The fisherman and Aveni are watching. The fisherman looked at the limestone that was sinking in the sea. That's a lot of people. It's lucky. Master Liu Feng told us to find the Northern Feng. To borrow more than 10 boats. If not, this one doesn't hold a lot of people. Like this. Look at the number of people trying to stay in the city. Revi continued to praise Liu Feng's talent. Yes, it is thanks to the presence of the Lord. Look far and wide. The ships of the Atlantic City docked in the city's harbor. Dropped the bridge to the shore. They looked at the victims loudly. I am Niu, the great officer of the 4 rivers. Under the orders of the owner of the Atlantic City, the Lord came to the rescue. Everybody on board will take you. People to safety. People into limestone. I heard the boats of other city nobles coming. Said aid was riotous and noisy, and talked about rescue. He said there's a noble who wants to save us. Someone suspicious asked, probably not tricking us. In the crowd that's raging, a tall man soaking wet rushed too. People on both sides said to give way. Knight Taki is here. Knight Taki just came forward to speak. Because these guys, you just said you wanted to get us to safety. SAO. As the serious officer said, yes. You can get on the boat now. I can get food later. We'll start right away if you're full. The people may have been hungry for days. I heard 2 words food. 2 bright eyes covering each other want to get on the boat. My mouth is screaming. What has food? I want to go too. As great fear, chaos people Chen trampled on each other. Hurry up and calm the hungry people. There is plenty of room on the boat. Everyone, don't push each other. ABC looked at the crowd. He gritted his teeth in anger and tried to pull out his knife. The people are out of control. Knight Taki gripped his hands into fists. Order everyone to stand still. Everyone lined up on the boat one by one. Didn't you hear this, master? There is plenty of room on the boat. The people stopped listening to the answer. Yes. I saw that everyone calmed me down as I continued. Old man, young woman up front. Everyone tells each other to obey Taki. Like the great world.